Okay. So that's one story about Sister Dorothy. Another story about her, when the school was kind of settling in a few days, you know, people knew where the classrooms were and what their schedule was and that. One evening she said, let's take a walk up to Dai Hung Road. And she and I walked up that hill. There are steps at one place. And then when we up behind our school, which was down below, and we could look down on it, there was a little stone hut on the curve in the road, and that had been put there during the war, I guess by the Japanese, who had to check out everybody driving through that area. And about half as big as this room. And during the war, that was a place where their guards watched. After the war ended, a company that had a lot of films stored them up there, and they had to have a watchman to watch it. They gave one of these immigrants the job of taking care of it, and he had a wife and 2 daughters at that time, and he and the boy didn't live up there, but the women lived in that little hut. That's where they had to live. And we met the woman. She came out. She spoke beautiful English and told us a little of her background. Her father had been a doctor and obviously from upper class breeding. And Sister Dorothy immediately said, well, I don't know what I can do for you, something like that. But she said, are you looking for a job? And she said, oh, yes. And so we invited her over, and she became our laundress until our cook left. Then she became cook and laundress. And her 2 little girls, she said, send them down to me, and I'll see if they can come to primary 2. Well, anyway, they did come down. And they were both interviewed by some of the teachers. The one was very attractive. She wasn't quite as bright as the other one, but they both came into the same class. I don't know if it was primary 3 or 4. Now, these are real refugees living in a hut on the hillside with no water, no running water. They had buckets and no handy food, travel possibilities. And anyway, they seem to exist very well back there. And their 2 daughters.
Oh, the microphone's right there. Okay, that's okay.
I forget about the microphone.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I know, I forget too.
So she took the 2 girls in school. And a couple of years later, those 2 girls with 2 other girls who were sisters and who were very wealthy, they started singing together in a little group. And that little group became, I think, the Sunshine Group. And then the next thing you know, the 4 of them were singing on the radio. There was no TV then. And they became the Sunshine Group or Singers or something or other. And they were on regularly on Sunday night. The whole school used to try to find a place to listen to them. And I was just thinking of it, how in Sister Dorothy's way, her kindness, first of all, this young woman, she was about in Farm 3 at that time, could reach such heights. And then these 2 children of this lady on the back hill, she had a 3rd one inside, she said. And these girls were real popular stars. They were going in restaurants with a little bit of guidance from some of their seniors. And the one married an American businessman who came all the time from New York or California to here. She later married him. Another one and married the nephew of the man who China made in charge of Hong Kong for those years right after the takeover. And the 3rd one, well, she grew up all the way from primary 1 in our school. She again was also the head girl in the school. And she went to college in the United States and met her husband there. And
did they come and visit you?
I visited them in California. and visited them there twice as I was coming and going. And other people who were at Monrovia visited more often than that.
Why do you think it's a success of the Maryknoll schools? What's the reason of the success?
I think a lot of the success is that they were teaching Chinese girls. You felt right away, you knew the influence of parents and elders on wanting to get their children in the best school, making them study hard, and inside they already had a lot of talents and possibilities to come out. And to get in a school, that was the first big step. The next big step was to obey their elders and do their studies. I began to put that one together early on. And I really think that that's, you know, like different